Let y'all salute.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kim did it, and then I
Thank
signed
you
it.
very much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
Every time.
Pretty brutal. Good evening. We do not have a member of the Minister Alliance here with us this evening, so we will stand for a moment of silence. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call the July 5th, 2022 Board of Aldermen meeting to order. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Kelly Netto,
Here.
Brandy Carroll, Jeremy Taylor,
Here.
Jim Shrout,
Here.
Brad Alexander,
Present.
and Mayor Dana Webb.
Here, thank you. The next item on the agenda is new business deletions or continuances. We do not have any of those tonight, so we will move on to public comments. We do not have any, correct?
There are none.
We do not have any public comments, so the next item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda. These items are designated for one motion for the Board of Aldermen to approve. Tonight, we have two items: approval of the June 20th, 2022 Board of Aldermen meeting minutes and expenditures through June 30th, 2022.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business, and we do not have any of that this evening, so we will move on to new business. The first item is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a request from the Oak Grove Historical Society to approve a hosting of the horse parade sponsored by the KC Cowboys Cops on Saturday, August the 13th, 2022. Mr. Randall, do you have anything? Okay. Pat, would you like to come up to the microphone and tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. I just came to kind of show my support for the city and how much these guys have been helping me. And we're hoping to have a successful parade again. We had 175 horses last year. We're going to have probably the same or more. Plus, there's going to be buggies and other stuff. We are going to have a VIP buggy up front, so we'll be looking for some VIPs and to ride in the parade up there. You'll be at the first. Again, we just appreciate the support that the city gives us, the chief, police, and everybody else here, Scott, and hope to have another successful parade. That's all.
Thanks, Pat. It was a really good event last year, so I'm glad that you're bringing it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay there, see if the board has any questions. Board, any questions for Pat about the parade?
The only thing I have questions for, we've discussed this with the police department and everything's good there. We've got that covered.
Yes, we are comfortable with the plans at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Same route?
Same route, same pretty much everything. I may try to come up with a couple of events to bring some people into the town. If that works, it works. If it don't, you know.
Sure.
And we had a lot of people downtown last year, but I'd like to have more people down there. But the parade route allowed a lot of people to see it and comfortably too, so that's about it.
Very good, thank you.
I make
Yep.
I make a motion that we approve the Oak Grove Historical Society to host the horse parade on Saturday, August 13th, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the horse parade for August 13th, 2022. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 22-12 regarding an ordinance of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest on certain municipal officials. It's Kim?
Yes.
All right.
This is just the standard conflict of interest ordinance that we pass each year for you guys.
Make a motion for first and second reading by title only of bill number 22-12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for, the reading of the proposed ordinance by title only. Oh, you made a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second. If all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. You did. He wants to correct his vote.
Aye.
He forgot to say aye.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. We're back on track, everybody. All right. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interests for certain municipal officials. An ordinance of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interests for certain municipal officials.
Make a motion for adoption of bill number 22-12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of the ordinance. Any discussion? City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Jim Shrout,
Yes.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
The motion is approved and the ordinance number 2037 is adopted. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a resolution establishing Juneteenth as a holiday in the City of Oak Grove and amending the personal policy manual of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri. Mr. Randall?
Yes, Mayor, so this would add Juneteenth as an official city holiday for the City of Oak Grove and amend the personal manual to reflect that. In reviewing both the federal and state holidays, there are 2 holidays that are not a city holiday. One is Juneteenth and the other one is Columbus Day.
So
Yeah,
go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, I'm all for, getting in line with the federal holidays, but I guess I don't know why. I mean, I know there was a swap of days, but
There was, yeah.
it seems to me like we should probably include the others too, right?
It's
If
up
we're
to you
not
guys.
already, I mean, that's a separate discussion, but
No, you can amend. You guys can add that to the amendment, right?
Yeah, you could
So
amend
the
the
swap was,
resolution
for
for-
you that don't know, the swap was years ago, they chose, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, and they got the day after Thanksgiving off instead of Columbus Day. But what you're proposing is go ahead and have Columbus Day. I agree. I can't vote, but you guys can speak up.
So you're taking Columbus Day and the Friday after Thanksgiving? Is that what we're,
no, that's not.
with,
Fish Monday, 14, basically.
with the Juneteenth? Is that what we're doing?
Well, the resolution is just to establish Juneteenth as a holiday.
Right.
But my thought was just why not include all federal holidays?
Well,
And if they want to have the day after Thanksgiving, I guess that's a separate discussion
are
maybe.
these paid holidays or just recognized holiday?
Yeah, these are paid holidays.
I think it would, I mean, maybe it would be beneficial to see if the staff would prefer have Columbus Day off or the day after Thanksgiving off. Or, I mean, like, I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, I'd say without an official vote, I would say that most would prefer to have the day after Thanksgiving off versus Columbus Day. And looking back, when that would have happened, that would have been in the 90s or earlier. Looking back at the personnel manual in 99 and 2000, the most recent holidays that the city's added were Martin Luther King Day and Veterans Day, were the two most recently added ones.
I brought it to the attention a few weeks ago to direct to city staff, so that's where we're at this point, to look into all holidays that surrounding cities have off, and so Columbus Day is the only one we're missing. But,
Yeah, and then if I failed to mention on the state level, there's also two holidays that we don't recognize as a city holiday, that being Truman Day and Lincoln's birthday. Truman is, obviously from Independence, so it's close, but most cities don't recognize Truman Day, and Lincoln's birthday gets wrapped into President's Day most of the time.
so at this point, I'm either waiting for a motion or to, any of you to direct city staff for something different, or to make an amendment, or just to approve what's in front of you, or any of the above.
Well, I make a motion for the first and second reading by title only.
Just a resolution.
It's just
Oh,
a resolution.
I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay.
I make a motion that we approve it as written, making Juneteenth a holiday in the city of Oak Grove.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the establishing Juneteenth as a holiday in the city of Oak Grove. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have a presentation regarding slow-speed neighborhood vehicles. Chief?
Excuse me for one moment. I was going to give you a lot of information, and I thought I'm going to bring you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Oh, you're supposed to make it a lot easier if you tried to tell us all this.
My intent was to gray out the areas that did not cover the slow-speed vehicle, but I guess the starburst's still in my eyes. I didn't gray it out enough, so you do have to kind of squint your eyes to see what areas are gray and what areas are still black on there. This is our current ordinance, the first few pages, as it relates to low-speed vehicles, which is very, very small in context, because this ordinance was written in 2008. 2008 was the repercussions of the first Razor scooter was invented in 2000. Following the Razor scooter was the pocket motorcycles and the small two-wheel vehicles. So if you look at this policy, it is heavy in regards to motorized bicycles, pocket rockets, Razors, and that such. Where it makes mention of low-speed vehicles is a Gator. And it's an odd mention because a Gator is just a model of one of 40 different low-speed vehicles. So that's the current, and it also mentions golf carts. Now, golf carts in themselves, I hate to always blame COVID, but it's the reality of what we're facing. The golf cart epidemic, not an epidemic, because it's really a good thing, quite honestly, but just the explosion of golf carts has quadrupled, and everyone is purchasing them now, everyone is selling them now. We have a furniture store that now sells golf carts if you've been along Salem and 4th Street. So everyone's jumping on the popularity. But they have a reason. They're affordable, they're fuel efficient, they have a small eco footprint, if you will. They're easy to operate, maneuverable, they store easy. But it comes with some considerations that need to be there if we just look at golf carts themselves. Then the fact that they need to be identified in some way, shape, or form with a flag that's high enough to be seen over vehicles. And anything that we discuss tonight still is going to follow along the lines of it must be a licensed driver and it must be insured for the roadways. And that's important that we take steps as a community to make sure that these vehicles that are going to be or may be on our roadway are insured to be there. in a liability sense of anything that may occur, that they can cover any damages that may result from it. So that is truly on the owner to have that rider on their policy that covers that UTV, golf cart, or whatever we may allow on the roadways. But golf carts are the ones that are there on a normal basis. And then if you look at that packet, there is, it's in my handwriting, it says RSMO, which is a state statute, where we have to kind of look at other vehicles. One being the recreational off-highway vehicle, which is going to be your side-by-sides, which is the big craze right now of the trail vehicles. Usually seat 2 to 4 people, some even seat 6. But that's what you're seeing on the trailers being pulled around town and pulled out of town and such. That is the big craze right now. The other being utility vehicles, what we would have considered to be the gators, those that are used for lawn maintenance, those that are used for by municipalities or even the school district. That's going to be the utility vehicle. And then the other vehicle, by state definition, is the all-terrain vehicle, or ATV. I will just go right out in front and say I am not in any way, shape, or form promoting ATV use on the roadways. There's no way for them to conform to the structure of a utility vehicle or a recreational vehicle for the safety of the riders. The ATVs just do not fit in that class. And in looking at all other city ordinances around us, there's no one that allows for an ATV other than Odessa, that has a special permit to be used for agriculture and shoveling snow. And that's only during those processes. So as I looked at our policy, or our ordinance, I went out and I looked at the other jurisdictions around us. Currently, the move is to adopt an ordinance to allow golf carts and slow-speed vehicles, as well as the off-road recreational vehicles. Grain Valley, as an example, has across-the-board recreational vehicles, utility vehicles, and golf carts. They're kind of the front runner on that. Others will say utility and golf carts, but they're going with all three. And they do a process of those vehicles are inspected by the police department. They pay a registration fee, and they receive 2 stickers, one that goes on the front of the vehicle and one that goes on the rear, so that at any given time, a patrol car can see if that vehicle has registered with the municipality and has paid the fee. Now, one of the things that I came across is that fee is governed by the Missouri State statute, that we may only charge $15 per year, or any municipality may only charge $15 per year for a registration. Now, you can do it in 2-year increments, and that's where they cut down on the amount of time and effort of registering vehicles. You only register every 2 years. So if you have an odd year registration, then it's on the odd years of the calendar year. But in looking at the surrounding cities, those that require registration is Greenwood, Grain Valley, Blue Springs, Pleasant Hill, and Odessa with a limited. Odessa only uses it for agriculture and special events. And those that require a fee would be Greenwood, Grain Valley, Pleasant Hill, and Odessa with limited use. Lee Summit has gone to allowing golf carts, but they do not have a registration or a fee associated with those. And I didn't go to bigger communities than that. I just went with that. And so if a community does opt for neighborhood vehicles, slow-speed vehicles, or recreational vehicles, we have several state statutes that protect us in the sense that they must be a licensed driver, they must be insured, and they must adhere to all provisions of the roadway just as a car would. So there's protections there, and that we're looking at. This is someone operating a motor vehicle. It is considered a motor vehicle. Anything that is self-propelled upon the roadway can be considered a motor vehicle. So we would be governing them with the same way we would any given car. At first, I was a little concerned by the back page of your packet are the 40 top recreational vehicles and utility vehicles that are out there. And from the Kubota that only goes 30 miles an hour, the Can-Am Maverick goes 85. And so at first it caused me some concern that if we were to look at these side-by-sides that can do top-rated speeds, But then again, it's no different than the person that owns a car that, you know, even the little Prius can go by us at 65 on a 40. So it's still having them adhere to the same rules of the road as any motor vehicle would. So, you know, it would allow, on your consideration, it would allow the people to utilize vehicles if you see fit to run those occasional errands in town or to accommodate the smaller trips in town. Lesser imprint on the economy, cheaper for them, easier to maneuver, maybe to handle. We put limitations on them that, you know, requires the flagging so that we can see them. We make sure that a registration is visible so that we know that they've been checked and so that we know that they have insurance. And I know I've jumped all over the place on this, but I would be happy to answer any questions of what I found out from other communities if you had specific, or if there's anything I can answer for you.
Doesn't it say somewhere about lights at night?
Our ordinance in itself does. If you look at the last part of low-speed vehicles, number 2, that we would have headlamps and rear lamps
Yeah.
on any vehicles operated at night. So we do have that in there, even with the current ordinance. So a lot of times that would exclude some of the older model golf carts, but that's fine. If they don't have those, they shouldn't be operating at night. But the newer model ones that are higher rise do have headlights and taillights.
They turn signals too and all that?
Turn signals aren't required on there, but some of them do have them.
Are you gonna require them when you?
We couldn't require them if it's not a manufacturing. We would require them to use the hand signals that would be required of any vehicle that doesn't have them.
But this doesn't include ATVs, though, is that?
Does not include ATVs.
Well, that's all-terrain, so.
All, yeah. And ATVs are going to be, the primary indication that the state looks at an ATV is a machine that you straddle, whether that be 2, 3, or 4-wheeled. If you straddle it as a single rider, it's considered an ATV.
So you say any licensed driver? This code says any person 17 years of age or older?
State only specifies licensed driver.
Okay, so would we make that change then?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a
Now,
penalty
where
for violation.
there's a stipulation in there is that a 16-year-old cannot take a 15-year-old out
Right.
riding in the UTV. They do specify that a underage person cannot be in a UTV except with a parent or guardian. So this isn't to where, you know, they can take out their friends.
Where did you see that?
It's on page 2, under penalty for violation. Is this something we are thinking about doing, or we are doing, or is that what we're kind of talking about?
This
right
is the
now?
first steps
Okay.
of spending a lot of time just looking to see
Yeah.
what the temperature is around us. And if you read any of the comments on Facebook from, you know, last evening, because it touches not only the streets and what we enforce. This would not be a step that we could take as a governing body and then not open it up to the parks, at least being able to pull into the parking lot of a park. And right now, that's not allowable on some of these vehicles. So if you're going to allow a family to use your UTV, but they have to stop at the park, we have to have that consideration in mind as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not that we want them on the grass or on the sidewalks or
No, but
anything,
just
this
like
is
a car.
just on the roadway, yeah, just like a car.
And maybe this is getting ahead of us, and if it is, just ignore it, but are you leaning towards wanting to charge a registration fee, or is this done, have strong feelings either way?
I don't have a feeling either way.
Okay, I'm just wondering. Thank you.
Register, yes. The fee,
Yes, register,
yeah.
yes, absolutely, and I like that idea. I don't know how. Did you find it, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Well, I just didn't think that was, I mean, that addresses how they're treated for violations, but then it clearly says regarding low-speed vehicles must have valid operators or
Oh,
chauffeur's
okay.
license.
Yeah, that's,
So I don't think
you
you'd
can't
have to
tell, that's
change
grayed
that.
out there.
I'm not an attorney.
Oh, I forgot
but-
about the grayed out part.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that's,
about that.
that's
We
for the
can't see it.
motorized bicycles.
I can't see that.
I think
part.
you have to have bionic eyes, because I don't see
I
a
have
thing.
bionic eyes.
Yeah, just look for the darker print.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, this is a presentation
Yeah.
tonight, so,
See, is there anything that talks about how many seats versus how many riders? I mean, I've seen golf cart with 5, 6 people in it, and there's not room for that many people.
No, they're not. They would have to know upon inspection, and it'd have to be clearly stated that any vehicle is only allowed for the amount of seats that are present. So if it's a 4-seater, it's going to be limited to a 4-seater. And that's going to be an enforcement and a safety protocol.
so it would have that on the permit or something that
It would have
show-
to be a training model
Yeah.
that we have,
Yeah.
that
Okay,
even though we may be interested in allowing this, we want it to be in the safest manner possible.
yeah. I think you've done a great job putting everything together.
So I'd just like to note that Brandy Carroll has joined. the
Oh, thank you. Brandy, thank you for joining us. We are on item number 4.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So yes, so this is presentation only. If you guys have any other questions, you can. Or if you want to read over this, you can always email Chief and ask him more questions if you have that at this point.
So I get-
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
You're suggesting or maybe suggesting that you would incorporate these other types of vehicles into the low-speed vehicle category?
Low speed, we would only identify in an ordinance as the golf carts and utility vehicles. Then we would have another designation for recreational vehicles as following state statute. That's a change that I've made here in this last 3 or 4 days from my original write-up you may have seen that I sent out a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I was having a hard time swallowing the Polarises and the Kawasaki's and all of those based on speed, but it took me just a bit to realize that it's just like any other vehicle. If
Are
they're
they?
speeding, they're speeding.
Because I don't know. Are they the same as any other vehicle?
No, I'm.
mean, do they have to be registered
No,
With the state? or
No.
anything?
The
So how do
state-
you prove insurance then?
You have to provide the rider of the insurance. You have to prove registration that you have a bill of sale in those, but you cannot license them in the sense of.
I have one, and you can, just like mine's insurance, just like your car insurance, I can pull it up and show you my insurance card on it. And then it
But
has,
there's no mechanism like on an annual basis like there is with my car. I have to go in and say, here's my insurance to get my tags renewed. There's nothing like that. But
That would be if we did a registration through us, they would have to show that to us to get the stickers.
Okay.
And that's an annual renewal for the stickers?
You can do it annual or biannual, but you're limited to $15. If you have a fee, you're limited to $15
By state.
per annual. Yeah.
What about golf carts? Do they have to, I mean, they're not registered, right? Golf
No.
carts, aren't?
No.
So
Nothing
there's
is right
no-
now.
I mean,
Not through the state. No.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, they're not registered.
They used to have a state registration, didn't they, on ATVs and UT and all that, and they got rid of it.
In the 2000s, they were trying to register everything, even the small motorcycles. They were going through that, and then the state finally put their foot down and said, no, we cannot do this, and so they stopped that process.
Yeah. I thought that- something like that.
So the only other thing you guys can do is you can leave it as a presentation, or someone can direct city staff to bring something back in the form of an ordinance that you can then review and pass if you want to.
Well, I mean, he says the first step in the process, right? So
Yeah.
they're working on it. I'd say we just leave it as a presentation. Would be my vote.
You still have to direct city staff, correct, Matt?
I mean, a direction would be helpful
Yeah.
if either we want to bring back another presentation to discuss it again, or amend the resolution, or amend the ordinance, or no motion at all, and then it would
Yeah.
stay as it is.
Yeah, it can just stay too, which,
Yeah.
anybody else? Any questions?
Nope.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Next item on the agenda would be information reports. Mr. Randall, do you have one?
Only that after the physical workshop that we had out there for the comprehensive plan at Ben Oak, we're now going to do a virtual workshop. So that's on the oakgrovecomplan.com. So if anybody who couldn't make the public open house or workshop could be able to do that through the website. The same materials are available through the website, can be individually commented on, and that will be live through the end of this month.
Nice, thank you. Mark, do you have a report?
Yes, the monthly test of the outdoor warning system will be at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, weather permitting.
Thank you. Does that mean it'll be too hot for it?
No, it might be too cloudy or too stormy.
Okay, all right. Storms would be nice. Okay, thank you, yeah. We don't usually like to say that to you, but it would be nice. Chief?
No report, thank you.
Okay. Tom?
Yeah, I'll just give you an update on our resurfacing program. So
you.
the bulk of the work's been done. They did Oak Ridge Drive from 16th to 12th Street today, and then 14th from Hillside to Oak Ridge Drive. Tomorrow, they will do 24th Terrace from the dead end on the west, southwest 24th Terrace from the dead end to Mitchell, and Mitchell from 24th Terrace to 24th. And that will end the bulk, the actual contract. Now, they've got to go back to Oaks to Edgewood, as you recall. We've hit some base problems there. And we internally have our crews out there, hogging everything, hogging down 12 inches of the bad part, and then putting millings back in and geogrid. And then the contractor, hopefully tomorrow and the next day, will bring in some base material to put on top of that. So there's still the inconvenience out there. We haven't been active out there the last couple of days because we've been trying to get curbs repaired on 24th Terrace. There were a lot of bad curbs on 24th Terrace, and we kind of have an equipment shortage, so we pulled off. Besides that, you can only do like one lane at a time on like 10th and 8th Street over there. You can't, you have to take it down and then wait for the contractor to come in. So we haven't been active in Oaks to Edgewood, but we plan to fire back up tomorrow and hopefully get everything wrapped up by the end of the week. So that's kind of where we're at.
Thank you,
right.
appreciate it. Kim?
I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what Matt said. That's also available on our Facebook page and the city's website. So if you share it on your Facebook, spread the word. It's virtual.
Thank you. Scott?
Yes, I'd like to say thanks Nye Valley, the police department, and the Boy Scouts for helping with the 4th of July event last night. Without their help, it wouldn't work as well as it does. That's all I have.
Can one of you talk about the photo contest? That'd be great, yeah.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
So July is Parks and Recreation Month, and we are having a photo contest for the whole month of July, July 1st through the 29th. Take any photograph. There's different age groups, and I'm sorry, I don't have those age groups with me right now, but I believe there's 5 different age groups. Each age group has a different prize. Any photograph of landscape or just anything that catches your eye within the parks or the city of Oak Grove. Try not to have any personal pictures because you'd have to have a release, definitely on that. And then I believe they'll be judged, and then they will get their awards at one of the Board of Alderman meetings, probably in August. So,
Good, thank you.
and we'll
And
be
it's
able to
all on
share and show that.
Social media?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is on Facebook and the city's website page with the consent form and enrollment.
Perfect,
So,
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Kelly?
I don't really have anything. I do want to say I wasn't able to attend the July 4th event, but I could see the fireworks from my house, and they were amazing. So thank you to the Parks Department and everybody else who helped out. It was awesome.
Jim?
No report.
Jeremy? Brandy, I'm going to save you for last. Brad?
No report.
Brandy, you have to speak loud.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my only report, and it's a sad one for me, is I'm going to resign my seat as Alderwoman of Ward 1. I've enjoyed serving the city, but I have been traveling for nursing, and I cannot seem to get back on the right schedule of making the meetings and just being available for my constituents as I need to, and for the city, and be able to attend events, which I feel like as an Alderwoman or Alderman, that is so important, is to be involved in these events throughout the city and just be present and be available for those things. And so because I feel like I'm not fulfilling my duty in that, I do want to resign. I will be there in 2 weeks for my last meeting. And then I just have enjoyed serving the city, and I love Oak Grove, and it's a beautiful place to live and be. But just, that will be my last meeting.
Thank you, Brandy. I know this has been a difficult decision, and I do appreciate your service to the city. I look forward to seeing you next week in person. I'm holding you to that. You said you would be here,
Okay.
right? All right, good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. My only report would be, again, to thank Brandy for her service, and then you guys did do a great job last night. Thank you. It was a nice event, always is, so well done, yeah. That's all I have. I need a motion to adjourn to executive session. Brandy, can you stay on, and we'll bring the laptop into executive session, okay?
Okay.
Okay, all right. Anybody?
Make a motion, we adjourn to executive session under 610.0212.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn to executive session 610.0212. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Brandy Carroll. I see her shake her head.
Okay.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Yes.
Jim
Get
Shrout,
unmuted.
Yes.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
We are adjourned to executive